Yeah, you know, the bike that I usually ride is really the Silver Wing, despite this one being more fun to ride. Unfortunately, the problem is that this one I could only use it for short rides. That one's more of a medium ride sort of bike, and it's much more comfortable and usable and practical and all of that stuff. So I tend to ride that as opposed to this one. Why is this thing always low on gas? 3.75. $8 only gave me 2.1 gallons. In weird news today, there was a deceased body found in Oxen Cove, and I was riding my bicycle by and I saw like the police there, and then I checked online. I was like, oh yeah, they found a deceased body in the woods near the MGM Hotel and Casino, and everybody's like, oh, maybe it's a dog. First of all, they're not going to say it's a deceased body and think it's a dog. It's a person. You can tell the skeleton of a dog versus a human. But I think I know the person. Not really know the person. There used to be this homeless guy that would hang out at the MGM Hill, and then in the last 2 weeks I didn't see him, and I thought, I was like, where's my buddy at? And I think he was in those woods. And I don't know what happened, but he wasn't too old. He might have been in his 40s. Maybe I should do Uber Eats with this bike, but then I realized I don't have a phone. So I'd have to get a phone to do Uber Eats, and then I'm just not that motivated. Everything has gone up in price. You guys check out any used motorcycles? It's like, oh yeah, 2004 FJR 1300, $6,000. We think that's a fair price. People selling Ninja 250s from like the 1980s for $1,500. Are these people just super high? They think they're gonna get $1,500 for a Ninja 250 from the 1980s? But that's the world that we're living right now. Everything is just crazy expensive. So yeah, it's weird. People really want top dollar for everything. I've been trying to get other bikes, but you know, the best thing about this area, the DMV, the DC metro area, is that once winter hits, there'll be a lot of bikes going for cheap, and that's what I'm like looking forward to. That's why I want to sell all my bikes now, and then in the winter buy new inventory. So I've been definitely like keeping my eye out on several bikes. I had a guy, and I was pretty close to buying his bike. It was a Honda VFR 800 25th anniversary edition, but he wanted too much money, and the only reason to get that 25th anniversary edition is because of the cool plastic. There's nothing else. I don't care about the year. It's just like the cool plastic. It's very patriotic. So he crashed it on the right side, and it needs like new plastic, and the front is also destroyed. And I was thinking, okay, why would I want to buy this? Because I can get a regular one. And then I saw the plastic online for like $500, so I can get a much cheaper version that's red and just put the plastic on there. I don't really care for the year. 25th anniversary means nothing to me. I just want it to look pretty on the photos. I think the interesting thing about this bike too is that it surprises you how good it is at handling back roads. But the one thing I do have to do is firm up the suspension, because it's overly soft, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because most people are going to be riding this very casually. But if you want to kind of like twist it up and just ride around, you are better off just firming up that suspension. As I crest this hill, for example, it goes up, and when you come down, you notice that it's way too soft. There's been so much crime happening that I just don't know what to think anymore, because there's been that's consistently every week in the DMV. And I mean, just 2 days ago, there was a decomposing body near where I live. There's robberies happening all the time near me now. And not only that, but my car got broken into last month while I was riding my mountain bike, and my garage got broken into, and somebody took my chainsaw, my weed whacker, my saw, my tree trimmer. Like, they took all of these tools, thousands of dollars. Man, just the chainsaw was like $800. And the only reason I know is because I was looking for it to cut some logs, and I don't have it. So now I have to buy one. But I just wanted to emphasize that around here, if you live within the Washington, D.C. area, you're kind of at risk. And by the way, this is on the outskirts, but still, thieves and murderers will come out here. And I think people here are generally a little bit safer because it takes some effort to get here. But where I live, it's kind of like a little bit busier and more packed, and within I-95 and 495, man, I don't know what to think. There's like so much stuff happening. Beltway, just the other week, I went to look at a house. I actually have the video of like me looking at the house, and there was a lady that was shot on that side street, on the main street going into that house I was looking at. There was a shootout from the highway, and this lady, 73-year-old lady, got caught in gunfire and got killed. And then just yesterday there was like 2 stabbings on the metro. I can't keep track of all of the crime that is happening. It's just insane. That's why, like, when you ride your motorcycle and you're out here, it feels great because you don't have to deal with any of that. And you know, I've been riding my mountain bike, but I kind of find that the people that ride mountain bikes and bicycles in general, I don't get along with them as much. There's something off with them. Oh yeah, and carjackings. Carjackings are like insane. I'm actually worried about riding this bike, and especially the CRF 250 through Washington, D.C. I know that crime is kind of exaggerated, but since I've been kind of like exposed to crime now, personally, it just feels a little bit more real. You know, I think a lot of times you just see it on TV and you go like, yeah, it doesn't happen here. But now it's starting to feel that it does happen. So Biden forgave some student loan debt, I think like $10,000. But don't worry, somebody has to pay that. It's not like the colleges are going to go like, what? We don't have that money. We need that money. So, you know, what's going to happen is that we are going to be paying for that. And, you know, I paid off my student loans rather quickly. And I know a friend, and she made like $130,000 a year. And she had $80,000 debt. And she was always bitching about how she can't pay it off, how it's inhumane to have this debt. The government should take care of that. You know, that whole like thing. And I kept thinking, man, you make $130,000, like, and she partied it up. And, you know, I was going to bars, drinking like crazy. And I remember every time like she got the drink, it was like $10, $20. I just remember my brain going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. She would go on trips to other countries, stay in like fancy hotels, eat in fancy restaurants, and I just kept thinking, you have all of this debt, but it seems that you're not interested in paying it off. Because if you have a $130,000 job, and even if you paid off your rent, and you bought food, and you lived a Spartan existence for 1 year, you should be able to put a dent on that student loan. But she told me that the reason she doesn't pay it off is because she believed that the government would eventually help her pay it off. There's all of these programs for people for the government to help with student loans. For example, if you work for a public school for like 10 years, they will eventually like forgive the loan. But this is like people that know the system. And that's the part that I don't like. That's the gross part, is that this lady made $130,000 and I made a whole lot less, and I managed to pay it off, basically because I just didn't want to have loans. I didn't want to owe anything. So I just kind of sucked it up. I didn't go anywhere. I just saved my money, and every time that student loan came from Sally Mae, I just gave it all to Sally Mae. And I paid it off like in a year or 2 years. So yeah, it's a little bit nuts. I was kind of disappointed because there are people that were taken advantage by schools who I feel like are the people that should be giving loan forgiveness. Like people that were completely unqualified for a loan. They were young. They went into a thing that didn't make any money, like art, and then eventually got out and they had so much loans and they couldn't get a job, so they got like $80,000 worth of loans, and Uber Eats doesn't pay enough, so basically that 80,000 turned to 130. Those are the ones that I think we should help. Oh yeah, and another depressing news around here, there was a trash truck and they were on a 2-lane road like this with, you know, a soft shoulder. The truck was going, I guess, this way, and there was a pickup truck, a dually, coming the opposite way, and the truck, I guess they were going normally, but to give more room to the other truck, the dump truck, trash truck, moved a little bit over the shoulder, and there was a depression on the shoulder, and it overturned. But get this, it killed one of the dumpster trash guys. What a terrible way to die. I mean, the guy was crushed by the dump truck. Oh man, sometimes like you just don't want to read the news, but there's like all of these things. What is this bike, buddy? Hey, that's a dual sport, like a DR650 or something. There's a Nissan Altima behind me. I'll keep an eye out on it, and you guys keep an eye out on all Nissan Altimas. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!